is Assisi. Again, we're at
so beautiful
Ontario right now, so they're all doing the practices downstairs.
How special that
so
you could be there,
everybody.
Yes, thank you for greeting us and for joining and for bringing us a piece of Assisi on that beautiful backdrop. Thank you, Giorgia. All right, Felipe, maybe I'll turn it over to you.
Well, it's so timely that Giorgia joined us because this whole process started when Pope Francis on May 1st, 2019 invited us all to Assisi, young economists, entrepreneurs, change makers, to restore a soul to the economy. And during that moment, we decided here in the United States, how could we gather people? Who are the other people out there? And so that's when I first met Elias and Nathan Schneider and others. And we began saying, who are the folks that are animated by this invitation? And that first invitation, December 2019, gathered about 250 people. And then we gathered again in February to commission us to Assisi. And then the pandemic. And so we gathered again virtually in April of 2020. And from that process, we said, how can we take this opportunity, this new way of gathering online, to go deeper? What is the deeper journey that each of us is invited to through this integration of the cry of the earth, the cry of the poor, and the structural problems of the global economy? And that's when we started facilitating workshops, spiritual community building for a new economy. We facilitated in April with about 30 folks. Then we went to a shared ownership workshop. And then most recently, a livable future investing workshop with Catholic asset holders, which many of you participated or perhaps heard about. And that's really what has given birth to kind of a focus that Elizabeth and I have had around Catholic asset holders, but also the project that Elias is now leading, Ownership Matters, which is really around mapping the ecology of solidarity economy practitioners, Francesco practitioners of all stripes. And so much of our hope today is that you can recognize yourself as a Francesco practitioner, as a Francesco change maker, because all of us, I think, are invited to that in our respective journeys. And to do that, I'm going to show a map in a little bit, but I'll turn it back to Elizabeth. I just wanted to give that context of the journey we're on, and this will hopefully become a journey of many, many years together, transforming our economy. Elizabeth, should I jump to sharing the map?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. You may have seen this in one of the introductory videos I offered, but this to me was just a rendering of the different parts of the economy of Francesco. Of course, at the bottom here, it's all of our Catholic institutions. It's those of us committed to the work of accompanying the poor and those on the periphery. So glad to have Brian here from Catholic Charities. Then it's all of us that are so keen on the cry of the earth, and all of those involved with Laudato Si, animators of all types. Father Jacek is here with the Franciscan friars and so much work he's done globally to educate around that, and all kinds of secular and religious groups doing work on that. Then, of course, the work of popular movements. Pope Francis has been so keen to name the kind of politics he's inviting us to is one of popular movements, and that's where he spent some of the most of his time globally. And there's so much good work that the Catholic Campaign Human Development has funded, the networks in all of our communities that are committed to this kind of community organizing. And then social movements, we'd be remiss not to name the moment we're in with Black Lives Matter and many other uprisings. And then there's the alternative economy. So many things are being restructured in terms of capital enterprise or capital in different relationship to workers or communities. And whether it's the legacy institutions, we have Mike Mercer here, who's been 34 years building, supporting credit unions throughout this country that represent about 12% of all household savings. So not an insignificant chunk of our economy is cooperatively structured already, when you think about the 50 million people that are part of rural electric cooperatives. And then we have Zebras Unite responding to the injustice of people pursuing billion-dollar valuations and solely one interest, and how antithetical that is to the universal destination of goods. Zebras Unite is recognizing we can be zebras running a herd, running together, and inviting more to multi-stakeholder ownership. And there's worker organizing, worker centers, the Catholic Labor Network, new economy practitioners of all sorts, there's the Association of Catholic Philanthropies, the Catholic Impact Investing Collaborative that's here. We have Calvert, we have many other folks accompanying impact investors to try to transform with their dollars to be more catalytic. So I just wanted to recognize that these are just parts. You can map many others, but each of us is part of this economy of Francesco, which is about restoring the soul to our economy. And each of us can bring that, our own spiritual journeys, our own personal transformation work to the institutions we're a part of, and collectively, through this spirit process of encounter, imagine something new. So I'm going to pause now and actually break us out into small groups for 5 minutes in groups of 3 to then meet a couple other people. So just share why you're here and part of what this is speaking to you. So give me 1 second. Okay, we'll come back right about 20 minutes after the hour.